It's the feeling of loneliness that was manifesting itself as this feeling of exhaustion, that's the language we knew to use. Because the truth is, we didn't talk about loneliness at work, but we could talk about being tired. That's almost a badge of honor. Like, oh, I'm just so tired, I'm working so hard. But whenever in my career did I have someone without prompting say, I'm feeling really disconnected and lonely, feeling like I don't really fit here. And so I asked my group that day, if I were to ask you instead of who's tired, who's lonely, how many of you would raise your hands? And I asked it completely rhetorically, because again, not equipped really to have this conversation. And 3/4 of the room raised their hands. And I stood there for a moment, one, kind of paralyzed, like, oh shit, what do I do with this? But two, heartbroken, because you know this, having spent so much time with DOD, we have an epidemic of rising suicide rates. And I knew that because I'd spent my whole career working with senior leaders every year when the suicide data report was released, trying to once again find just the perfect messaging to reach our airmen, to share with them the tools that were available, the support that was available. And year after year after year, the numbers were increasing and we weren't getting through. And here I am standing in front of a group of, let's be honest, mostly men. And they're sharing something with me that is a very real emotion, one we don't talk about. And I realize that we're not having conversations at the root level. And because we're not having those conversations at the root level, we are wasting so much energy just dealing with the symptoms. Because a word like lonely was so uncomfortable for us that we didn't know how to talk about it. I went to Wing Stand Up, which is our weekly meeting at the wing level. And I went to that meeting that week and I said, we need to be talking about loneliness. You know, luckily I'm at the table now. I'm not in the cheap seats against the wall. And to watch, I mean, you would not have seen discomfort more than we saw in that room that day. Like, they were like, oh my gosh, why is she talking about loneliness? Like, why are we having this conversation? And that was the moment when I watched all of my fellow peers and other commanders. When I saw their discomfort, I realized we're never going to get to the root of this problem if we can't get over the discomfort of language.